Welcome to the MOTO Freak channel. Greetings to all viewers, subscribers, supporters. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and share videos. In this episode, I will talk about changing the oil in the Mercedes 9G-Tronic automatic transmission. So to the point, changing the oil in the Mercedes 9G-Tronic automatic transmission, internal designation 725.0, is an advanced procedure that requires specialized tools, knowledge, and experience. It is strongly recommended to carry out this operation at an authorized Mercedes service or a specialized workshop dealing with automatic transmissions. Errors in the process can lead to serious damage to the gearbox. Key aspects before changing the oil in the 9G-Tronic. Change interval. Mercedes-Benz initially declared that the oil in the 9G-Tronic is lifetime. Currently, the manufacturer, as well as independent experts and workshops, recommend changing the oil. As a standard, it is recommended every 60,000 to 80,000 kilometers or every 5 years, depending on the operating conditions. In the case of intensive driving, e.g. in traffic jams, towing, frequent short routes, the interval should be shortened. Oil type. It is extremely important to use the right ATF oil that meets Mercedes specifications. For the 9G-Tronic gearbox 725.0, this is most often the MB 236.17 standard. This oil is often yellow in color, earlier standards, e.g. 236.15 for the 7G-Tronic Plus, were blue. Be sure to check the VIN number of your vehicle for the exact oil specification, because the standards are not backward compatible. Oil quantity. For a dynamic oil change in the 9G-Tronic gearbox, approximately 9 to 10 liters of oil are usually needed. Spare parts. Oil pan with integrated filter. In the 9G-Tronic gearbox, the oil filter is integrated in the oil pan. The entire element is replaced. New oil pan mounting bolts. Mercedes often recommends replacement due to the tightening method. New oil pan gasket, usually included with the pan/filter. New plastic overflow pipe/sump in the oil pan. Oil pan drain plug with new gasket. No drain plug in the converter. In the 9G-Tronic gearbox, there is no drain plug on the torque converter. This means that a full oil change requires the dynamic method, using a special flushing machine, or several static changes. Special tools. Column lift or pit. Set of keys, torque sockets, Allen keys. Torque wrench for precise tightening. Oil injection pump. The 9G-Tronic gearbox oil is poured from below through the same hole through which it is drained. This requires a special pump with an adapter. Diagnostic computer, e.g. star diagnosis/Zentry necessary for reading the exact gearbox oil temperature, crucial for setting the correct level, and for carrying out the gearbox adaptation procedure after change. Some oil change kits, e.g. meal, offer special tools for checking the level. Used oil containers. General procedure for changing the oil in a 9G-Tronic dynamic, simplified description. Phase 1. Draining the old oil and replacing the filter pan. 1. Preparing the vehicle. Warm up the gearbox, short drive, to operating temperature. Place the vehicle on a lift or pit. 2. Removing the covers. Remove the covers under the engine and gearbox to gain access. 3. Draining the oil from the pan. Place a container for the used oil onto the gearbox oil pan. Unscrew the drain plug of the sump, usually a 6 mm Allen key. 4. Pushing and unscrewing the overflow sump. There's a plastic tube in the overflow sump, that determines the oil level. After draining the oil from the sump, remove it to allow the remaining oil to drain. 5. Dismantling the oil sump. With integrated filter, unscrew the bolts that secure the oil sump. Carefully remove the entire sump. Be careful of any oil residue that may be in it. 6. Installing the new sump with filter. Install the new oil sump with a new gasket and a new overflow sump. Tighten the sump with new bolts to the correct torque, e.g. 4 Nm plus 180 degrees. Always check the service manual. Phase 2. Filling and setting the oil level. 1. Initial filling. Using a special oil pump, start pouring new ATF oil into the gearbox through the drain hole in the pan. Pour in about 5 to 6 liters. 2. Starting the engine and pumping. Start the engine. In neutral, P. Continue to pump the oil. 3. Changing gears. Once the gearbox has been initially filled and the engine is running, move the gear selector through all positions, PRND and RP, several times, pausing for a few seconds in each position. This allows the oil to be distributed throughout the system. 4. Temperature monitoring. It is crucial to monitor the gearbox oil temperature using a diagnostic computer, Star Diagnosis/Sentry. 5. Setting the oil leveling. When the oil temperature reaches the value specified by the manufacturer, usually around 35 to 45 degrees Celsius, you will find the exact value in the service documentation for your model. With the engine running, in the P position, unscrew the drain plug of the pan again. If the oil starts to flow out intensively, it means that there is too much of it. Wait until the oil flow changes to a thin, intermittent stream or dripping. If the oil does not flow out, add more oil until it drips. At this point, quickly tighten the drain plug with the appropriate torque, e.g. 22 Newton meters. This means that the oil level is correct. 6. Adaptation procedure and error reset. After changing the oil and setting the level, the gearbox adaptation procedure is usually performed using a diagnostic computer. The old adaptation values are reset and the gearbox is relearned, which ensures smoother operation. You should also check for any errors in the gearbox control unit and reset them. Important notes. No drain plug in the converter. Since the 9G-Tronic does not have a drain plug in the converter, a full oil change, full volume, is only possible via a so-called dynamic oil change using a special machine. This machine connects to the gearbox cooling system and simultaneously pumps out the old oil while introducing new oil, flushing the entire gearbox. A static change from the pan only removes about 40 to 50% of the total oil volume. Cleanliness. Maintaining absolute cleanliness throughout the entire procedure is critical. Any contamination can damage delicate gearbox components. Temperature accuracy. The oil level is very sensitive to temperature. The manufacturer's recommendations regarding the temperature at which the level should be checked and set must be strictly adhered to. Professionalism. The above description is only a simplified guide. If you do not have the experience, the right tools and access to Mercedes diagnostic software, do not attempt to change the oil yourself. Leave this task to a professional. Remember that it is always best to follow the official Mercedes service manuals, e.g. from the WIS/ASRA system, for the specific model and year of the vehicle, as there may be minor differences. Thank you for watching the video, and I invite you to subscribe to the Automotive Freak channel. Greetings to everyone, and hear from you in the next episode. See you soon.